slightly better here today, Shiva. What he will do?
देख
Shiva,
लीजिए एक बार कि
today.
उसमें आवाज आ रही है या नहीं.
What he will do? He will
जो पहले से
go
था
to
गैंटी में
DMart,
देखा.
right? And DMart have a connection with farmers who have the specialization. So DMart will be taking the things from farmers, and Shivang will only bother about entering into DMart, select the items, buy,
Love
and
to
go
see
come
this
back.
energy. And thanks for joining in
Yes?
over a weekend.
Now,
अरे यार
tell me
आज
one
फिर
thing.
हो गया.
I will.
Which is more easier path? The number one path or number two path? Today's Shivanka eating habit or the older one? Definitely number two. Who will go to and kill, right? Especially if you're a vegetarian, then you will die, right? In those days, though. Now, so this is going to be easier way of doing something. Similar thing in data analyst field or in data science field, there is something called as NumPy Panda being created. Now, what are these things? Think of it just like DMart. What they have done. So let's say you have to solve a problem. Now, one way for you is you go and code everything from scratch. Best of luck. Keep doing that. Second way is, how about somebody else have already done the hard work for you and providing you those things free of cost? You will say, wow, this is great, right? Because at least DMart is charging me. These guys are not also charging me now. They are saying that I have already written a lot of code which I know you will be using tomorrow. Now, those libraries are present inside NumPy Panda. In fact, because of this, now even non-tech people can survive in this field like anything, and that's why they are also getting into this field like anything. For example, I've seen so many HR, sales people, marketing people becoming data scientists. Why? Because this is making their life easier. You don't need to code anything. You will write just single one function line and done. And that also will feel like you're talking with in English. For example, you need to count. You will say count. Done. Job is done. So this is what NumPy Pandas will do for you. Again, a skill set, because definitely you need to learn this language. This was again the requirement internally by Microsoft, because we definitely don't want to increase our development time. So we want to use these libraries to get the job done. That was the thing which we used to do. Not NumPy. Okay, this is P. Now, let's go ahead for the next part. Now, if I talk in simple term about data science, what exactly this means? Data science, basically in simple terms, I can say, is getting insight from the data. That's it. It have no other meaning other than this. So getting insight from the data. How many of you invest in stock market? How many of you invest in stock market and probably use fundamental or technical analysis for choosing stocks? So many of you. Specifically, when you're going for any analysis, like technical analysis or fundamental analysis, don't you think you basically rely on company ka old data, whether in form of charts, whether in form of their profit loss statement, balance sheets, whatever, but you rely on data. Now, don't you think using that information, you make a lot of analysis and say, hey, I'm going to buy on this stock or I'm going to sell this particular stock, right? Now, this is nothing but a data science part. You are getting some insight from the data which I give you. That basically is a field of data science. In fact, I'm not sure if you have seen this now. People who invest in stock market might be aware of. There are a lot of companies who coming and saying that we are providing your AI platform using which we will tell you whether you should buy or sell. Awesome. So now people are making money out of it. That's what is happening around that now. So making interesting decision based on some data analysis is nothing but your data science. Now, what all the things required for it? One is definitely data. I need data for doing something. Second is definitely you need to write some code. It could be using NumPy Panda where everything is pre-built for you. It could be using by simple Python code and so on. You can use SQL code and so on. And you need to know some maths aspect of it. Now, is the math really hard? How many of you are here who say math is like, I hate it. How many of you are here that people hate this? So lesser people hate it, but still there are quite a few who hate it. Let me tell you one thing. One of the strong reason why people hate it, because people have never understood where to use it, how to use it. If you start understanding the application and understand maths from that perspective, you will fall in love with maths like me. Like math is one area which you can never mug up. For example, when we use calculus, we feel where I'm going to use this differentiation and all that, right? But let me tell you, it has such a big attribution towards the AI. In fact, AI field probably would have not existed without it. This is that much important field. So when you understand it visually that, okay, this is what is happening here, then basically you will start falling in love. In fact, that's what we do in Scalar also. In Scalar, we make sure that we have so many students who come in and say, I fear maths. And whenever they say that, we kind of go and just say, we promise us, after your math module, you reach out to us and let us know. We keep AMA and everybody say, we love maths. It's a game changer. Why? Because now you connected the dots. Now you start feeling I want. In fact, one of the common complaint which comes from our student community a lot of times is, hey, tell us more books to read now. And we said, theek hai, read the other modules now. So anyway, that happens across. Now, what exactly are the kind of analysis people make across here? For example, let's say for Swiggy, have you seen as soon as you order food, they tell you estimated time for delivery? And this can change depending on the distance of the restaurant, the time taken by that restaurant and so on. Yes. So that all analysis comes, all the data thing comes with respect to data science only. You must have seen that when you use Uber, Uber tells you that, okay, whether you should be, when you book a taxi, it tells you that estimated time to reach, right? Or estimated time for the driver to reach your place. Again, there also data science is being done across for it. Lot of interesting analysis is being done on it. Similarly, if I talk about my Microsoft journey, in Microsoft as well, we want to know how well we are doing with respect to advertisement. If you're publishing our advertiser thing, we would love to know whether those advertisements were effective or not. If they are not effective, it's a waste of money for us. So let's not go for it. So a lot of things around that we basically go for. Now, what do you mean by AI? Okay, so this is about your data science. But what about AI terms now, right? Let's understand this term. AI basically means creating intelligence in any type of computational system. Simple. In fact, this came in 1940s, very long time back. So creating intelligence in any form, creating intelligence in computational systems. This is nothing but your AI. If you can give intelligence to your system in any form, I will call it as an AI, artificial intelligence. Now, afterwards, there were other entries which came in. For example, machine learning. You must have heard about it. Machine learning. Now, when I say machine learning, what exactly I mean by that and how this is different from this. In fact, this word came around 1970s. This was around 1970s. Now, here in machine learning part, people start using applied maths a lot. Applied maths. People started using specifically stats, calculus, and so on. People use computer science and they also use physics. Yeah. Though not much of the physics, but yes, they also started using physics for it. Let me give you some examples now of both the sides. If you look in the bar, how exactly this looks like. For example, let's say if I have to draw for data science, I'm not yet drawing machine learning, I will be drawing in some time. And if I have to draw, let's say AI, now there are some places where they will intersect, some places where they will not intersect. For example, let's say if I talk about databases. Now this databases or data lake, is a part of data science, but will not be a part of AI. Okay. So this is something which is important. Similarly, when you talk about images and all and play with it, there are some components which belongs to only AI, not maybe on the machine learning side. Now, let me talk about your machine learning stuff, because that's going to be more important for you to understand where that pitch in, what kind of job roles again come in for that. All of you have watched World Cup, Cricket World Cup. I know I might have made some people sad by reminding them about the past. But have you noticed in every match, they were showing the score prediction? They were showing that, hey, currently a team is, let's say, at 130 by 2. They will say course predictor is 270 by 8 or something like that, right? So they will tell you that where possibly this team can reach at. Now you must have also seen a lot of times your weather prediction. They say tomorrow it's gonna rain. After 2 days it's gonna rain. Forecast of rains is very, very high. Now that's where again machine learning comes in. So machine learning, the idea is it just do not look at the data and give you the analysis, but instead it will try to build something for you in such a way so that for the future new data, you are able to make predictions. Something like astrologers. People show hands and astrologers start saying, this is going to happen in future for you. And in fact, a lot of astrologers even predict so nicely that even you will get surprised. Oh, how come this guy know about me when I didn't know about myself this much, right? So many things across comes here like this. Similar way, machine learning is that magic where it will learn something from the old data and start predicting something for the future data. That is the role of machine learning for me. Coming back to Microsoft again. And let's understand what exactly we used to do from the machine learning perspective there. Now, what's going to happen in the advertisement world? Now, let me tell you a problem. If I'm running my ad globally all over the world, not just India, but globally all over the world, I have advertisers from different places. Tell me one thing. When you have so many advertisers coming around for me now, and plus so many users globally whom I'm sending the ads, then do you think one laptop will be enough to store their data, to process their data, to do all the analysis and so on? No, impossible. This is where my engineering team used to create distributed systems. We used to have multiple different computer servers being involved all over the globe. We used to split the data, we used to store it in replicated way and so on, so that we can do analysis easily on them. Now tell me one thing. Tell me if I have thousands of machines, don't you think the chances of one machine going down will be higher? Very much higher. Can't help it. Machine can go down at any time. Now, this is where we have the machine learning algorithm running behind the back, which used to tell us the prediction that this many machines can go down. Please make sure that this many machines, you can keep them ready so that your servers are never ever down off of all this. Now, this thing which you do across comes from machine learning, where you are predicting about something by looking at the past evidence about it. Means in the past we have learned that by this time we have seen this many machines failing and so on, and by that time it used to predict when my server load is this much, then my prediction is that maybe 100 of the machines can fail on this system, like this. So we have a system which used to on an AI basis tell us that, okay, this can fail, this is working fine and so on. And accordingly, we used to start replicating their data and keep on making sure that the new servers are ready for it. Now, don't you think this is again machine learning? Because I'm predicting about future, that what machines can fail, how many new machines I needed, what should be my server things and requirements and so on. Think about Amazon. You all must have seen that big billion sale, right? Big billion sales and all that. Now, during the big billion sales, their sale can go exponentially by 10x. Now, during that time, they need to make sure that their websites are running fine, not like IRCTC, right? All of you must have seen IRCTC breaking up like anything left and right. So you don't want it like IRCTC where things are breaking up left and right. So now you want to make sure that Amazon is all the time up. Now, if you want to do this, then you need to make sure that behind the scene your AI are continuously running to tell that whether this is a right prediction or what should be the right prediction of number of machines and so on. This is one place where I use machine learning. Let me tell you another part of it. Again, coming back to stock market, because this was again one field which my team used to do. Have you noticed when any company come and declare their quarter results? Have you noticed during their quarter results, they talk about that this is our plan for the next quarter. This is the sale what we are expecting for the coming next 1 year. Have you seen that? Right? And based on that, then stock market goes high for that stock or come down. They say that, oh, the company is going to grow, so let me invest, or otherwise I don't invest. So prices fluctuates based on that. Now, this was my team who used to do this job. My team used to tell that, hey, this is the kind of important part of it, which is this some data we used to pull up, and by that we used to predict that what will be the next quarterly sale for us, and that's what used to go to Satya, and then he used to announce it. We have used a lot of financial modeling for that. So, but definitely a lot of machine learning components here. So now this is very critical. Let's say if we do a small mistake, it can hurt the whole company like anything. So we were also doing that. Are you all able to connect the dots that now to do all these things, I need to hire people who know all these things? Yes? Correct. This is what I used to do. So now I hope with these examples, you are able to connect the dots easily that, okay, this is the kind of work for which a company have to hire. Right? That's why I'm adopting this way for explaining you this. Now, your machine learning component, which I talked about, is going to be a part again here. This is where your machine learning sits. Now let's go ahead for the another part. What about deep learning? Deep learning, right? This is another thing which comes in across a lot and going to be superbly important. Now let me tell you, deep learning, you cannot even survive in data science field without it, unless and until you are a data analyst. This is that important. Let me tell you, deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Now, what kind of problems? What these people did, they said, the way human brain works, we want to create a system exactly like that. We want to create replica of human brain. Now, this is where the thought of deep learning started. Now, have you noticed this? Let's say there is a hot press or something which is there. You just touch it. What you will end up noticing is that you may not feel it immediately that it's hot, but after a few seconds, you will feel it's hot. If you want to try it, do that at your own risk. Okay? I'm not suggesting you to do that, but if you want, you can do it. Now, why that happens? Because when you touch it, there are signals which is reaching from your hand towards your mind, towards your brain. It is sending those signals, and that takes time to process. And that, when you do, is basically the way how human brain works, like cell to cell connection, and it's passing information from one cell to another cell. This is exactly what data scientists thought we will create a system around it. And that's what they called it as deep learning. Now, let me tell you the history behind it. What exactly happened around this part? Deep learning is also very old field. In fact, this became sort of famous around 2006. And then after that, it just came down. People said, oh, deep learning is going to eat the whole field of now, all the jobs, everything up. And then, after that, everybody felt, no, this was a gimmick, not going to work. So all the funding stopped. We also call it as winter AI. Very bad phase for deep learning. Then what happened? There was a guy called as Hilton. His name is Hilton. Very famous guy. He's like god of this area. What he did? So what used to happen is, there is a competition called as ImageNet. Okay, this was the competition. What used to happen in this competition? In this competition, they used to give images of dog, cats, kite, copies, human, bird, different kinds. Now, what basically happens around in this case, they used to ask, hey, if I give you an image, can you tell me what is this image? And it's so hard that even if you look from human eye, they were so small image that you will even give mistakes. You know, at that time, there was one machine learning algorithm called as SVM, support vector machine. If you do not know, ignore that. But that algorithm was very famous of machine learning. Everybody used to use that. Like, it was like Usain Bolt of AI world. Think of it like this. It was working great. Everybody was using it. And at that moment, people were like hitting some 60-70% accuracy and happy with it. 60-70% means if I show you 10 image, people said 6 or 7 image correctly. Using that model, people were happy with it. Now what happened? This guy in 2012, bringing his deep learning model, entered into this competition. And what he did, he used the deep learning models here. He said, I will use deep learning models. And afterwards, you know what? If SVM, the machine learning algorithm, let's say, was taking 60% of accuracy, this guy came and said, I will give you 95% accuracy. Not winning by a small percentage. Earlier, what used to happen was, if you give 60% topper, 59.98 second topper, 59.96 third topper. That used to be the range of it. You know what? He said, forget about it. I will give you 95%. I will beat you like hell. And after that, deep learning again came back into play. And after that, it had never looked back. One of the major reasons why deep learning never worked earlier was because deep learning is one area which requires a lot of computational power. You need GPUs for this, and which never was there in 2006. Nowadays, the chips became bigger and all that. It became super fast. So now deep learning taken over from there. So whenever you are doing some sort of prediction on image or video kind of data or text kind of data, we start thinking about deep learning area. Same machine learning ka part, only thing is now we went into specific field of images, video and so on. This is where your deep learning came in. Let's come back to Microsoft example. What is going to happen and how we used to use deep learning there. Firstly, when let's say scaler coming in and said we want to upload our picture and we want to show the ad. Now any person can come in and say, I have my company, I want to show an ad on Microsoft platform. Yes. Now tell me one thing. If that is the case, let's say Anuj opened a company. Now in that case, let's say Anuj is a notorious guy. He said, he just talked with Microsoft team and said, I want the access of your platform because I want to upload an ad. Don't you think Anuj can be mischievous and he can also upload maybe wrong pictures or maybe pornography? Can he very well do that? Yes. Who will be at loss? Microsoft. Why? Because all these platforms where his ad is running now will feel Microsoft gave us this ad. Now people will start leaving. People will say, who the hell will use Microsoft? It's like screwing up the customer. Now, there we used to use a lot of deep learning algorithm to make sure, let's say people like Anuj came up, I'm just taking his name, not exactly meant by him. But if people like him comes up and upload even pornography, I will immediately reject his ad without any human intervention. So these kind of things were being done by my team, again, by making sure that the advertisement is in the right format. Not only this. In fact, have you noticed this also? Let's say Scalar ka Shivang ka master class is running. Have you noticed it runs on different poster styles? You might have seen it sometime. Somewhere I may be standing like this. Somewhere I may be standing like this. Somewhere I may be sitting on a chair. Maybe I'm holding this pen. Have you noticed me being available in different poster style? Now, even for that, there is a catch. What happens there is, like I will be showing, let's say to to Chandra, maybe one ad where I'm standing. Maybe to Preeta, I will show an ad where I'm sitting on a chair. Now notice one thing. What exactly is happening in this case? I probably will learn the taste. If I show this ad to Preeta, maybe Preeta would love to join my masterclass after seeing in this way of showing the ad. She will click on this ad most probably if I show this ad to her. This is how the thinking happens here. Not only this, even there are a lot of interesting decisions being made on images, video, and so on by doing all these kind of analysis. Have you seen in Netflix? They show you a movie ka poster. Now maybe in my Netflix account, even Dil Chahta Hai movie would have a different poster. Maybe they will show me all the three actors going to Goa in a car. But maybe to Santosh, they may show a different poster, right? They may show Santosh some part of the picture which is slightly serious, because they know Santosh may click on this if that I will show this. Again, at the back of it, all the deep learning is running at the back and making all that decision for you. Now, using these kind of field, basically when you are making some decision or prediction that, okay, if I show this image, then most probably going to be hit or not, all these things happen with the help of deep learning. Clear, everyone? Right? So this is the deep learning context around this. Let me tell you one more example where I worked on. So, how many people have heard about this hospital called as Fortis? Fortis is in Bangalore, very famous one. I think it's in Delhi also now. So Fortis Hospital, which is there, there is a disease called as tuberculosis. I don't know if you have heard about it or not. There's a disease called as tuberculosis. Now that tuberculosis, what's the process behind it? Is let's say a patient have to come in. He have to go through an X-ray, and that X-ray report then is sent to a radiologist. Okay. Now from that X-ray to tell that you have a TB or not, radiologists roughly take 3 to 4 days. This is the time frame what it happens across. Now what happens with this? The patient health can deteriorate in 3-4 days, or he can die also. This is such a bad disease. So what generally the doctors do now, doctors as soon as they suspect, they will simply give you medication. They will put you on medication. And let me tell you, TB ka medication is very hard on your body. So it's not easy. Even if you do not have tuberculosis and by chance you're put on medication, you will become very weak. That's a big problem with this. Now, what we did in this case. So what we did is, so I worked with Fortis Hospital at that time, and basically we decided to use deep learning models on those X-ray reports. As soon as the X-ray report will happen with me, I will run it on the deep learning model, and using that model, I will predict whether this patient have tuberculosis or not. Now, what we used to do. If I say this guy do not have tuberculosis, the deep learning model was working in such a way that it's 100% sure that this guy will not have tuberculosis. So what used to happen, let's say if there are 100 people whose X-ray reports were being sent now, at least for 80 people it used to tell that you do not have tuberculosis. So 80% of the work is reduced now for radiologists. Now for 20% people who are left out, I will say that you have tuberculosis. Now there is a chance of mistake here, because deep learning models cannot be perfect. So what we used to do, then if this 20% cases where we say that you have probable tuberculosis, doctors can recommend for the medication for them, and at the same time the report can be shared to radiologists to cross-confirm. This is the process. Even this model is still running in Fortis. Okay. So this is one thing which I have myself solved it completely end-to-end product from this. Don't you think AI today have entered into day-to-day life now? With these examples, I hope you are all able to connect the dots. AI is all running around us. We are just not aware of it. Yes. So these are the kind of things what basically happens. Let's talk about NLP also. This is also a field of deep learning, natural language processing. Let me tell you, this is the most famous one. Wherever you talk about text data, you talk about NLP. You must be using Google search, NLP. You must be talking to Alexa, NLP. Amazon have a complete team across the globe on Alexa. They look for NLP people. Now in NLP, what basically happens is, there is a very interesting concept called as transformers. This came up in 2017. And from this chat GPT came in. Okay. Actually, this T is nothing but transformer only. Natural language processing. Okay. So this is going to be a game changer. In fact, since we are talking about chat GPT is taking over, actually this is all nothing. We are talking about NLP only. If you want to go into chat GPT area, then you need to learn about NLP. Without that, you can't do anything. Tokenization is the small thing, Mohammed, what you're talking about. These are developed by multiple people, not just one. You can also include my name in that field. Okay. Now, let's go ahead with this part. Now, let me tell you. So, what all things you have got to know from me, how you can learn that. Agree? Then we will go for job sections. We will also go more in detail about generative AI, right? Because that's also important. Generative AI, again, chat GPT in more detail about this part. Now, let's understand this thing in detail. So, let's talk about, let's say, SQL, Python, TSA. All these things, Abhishek, that's a very wide field. In fact, there is a separate masterclass which we do on these transformers and all that. Maybe you can join that. I will give you some more details about transformer, but definitely I will not take that much deep dive into this. Now, if you want to learn this thing, give me 10-15 minutes, then we will go for a break. So now, this you can learn it from a place called are free and you can use it. There are some paid version also. I leave it to you. If you want to pay for it or not, completely on you. Second is about maths. For maths, you will be having the MIT lectures, which are available for you free of cost. Just go and Google it out. MIT lectures maths. You will get that. Now, for this part, you definitely can go and read that. Very good. Slightly tough, to be honest, because it's being done by MIT. So they will make it tougher. You can't help it. What about machine learning, deep learning? There is a YouTube. There is a very famous videos by NG Andrew. Go through his lectures. All the maths one, calculus, you will see in one place. Just Google it up, you will get this part. He's a professor from Stanford. Go over it. Only problem which I feel in his part is he's very theoretical because he have never worked in industrial side of the things. So that's definitely is going to be a small problem. Second place where you can practice all this is Kaggle.com. Kaggle.com. This is one interesting place where you can definitely go for. Now, anyone who is self-disciplined and feel that you want to basically learn all this part on your own, choose this path. Don't think about it. But you have to make sure that you're disciplined at least for next 1 to 2 years. You have to make sure that daily basis you are spending at least 2 to 3 hours daily without a break. If you can do that, please choose this path. It's a very long journey. It will take time. It is not going to be easy. It will take time. But you can definitely learn it using this path medium. Now, let's go for the second part. What about people who are lazy people like me, right? There must be people like me also. So, who definitely need some guidance, who may feel that, hey, I just not only need this, I may also need the job assistance and everything up. Then probably you can take help of something like Scalar. Let me very quickly talk about this also. First thing, in Scalar, there are two kind of course content, which is one after the other. You have to go through both. One is data analyst. First, it takes you roughly 7 to 8 months to finish. Afterwards, you can go for data scientist. This is like immediately after that, this happens. Overall, this takes 14 to 16 months to complete this whole course curriculum. 14 to 16 months. Now, let me tell you that what is the scalar approach through this? Scalar approach is that first of all, this course is created by all the industry experts. Who are those industry experts? People coming from Google, people like me who is coming from Microsoft, people who have built it, done it, put the systems in production. They have built a course. This is not something which is created by one person. Again, second is the way Scalar operates here is Scalar talks about first you become data analyst. If you do not have a problem, take the job. We allow you to sit in placement after this. You go and sit in the placement. Continue to data scientist course. We will not stop you. And afterwards, you can again sit and take the data science job. This is how what lot of people do also. Now, let me talk about slightly in more detail about this. Let me break this down. So what happens is, people who are also coming from non-tech background, people who do not know any coding, they can also cope up. People who already are working into engineering field, they say, hey, I already know coding and all that, they can also cope up. Because for them, there are separate way how to deal with sessions. For people who are complete beginner, there are separate way how they can take their sessions. So it's a very much customized course also. For example, you will be starting with something called as SQL, which is database. Remember the first thing which I told you? In database, I will be keeping my ad and all that. That's the one. Further to that, you will go through Python programming language. After this, you also do Tableau and Excel. People who are saying that, hey, Power BI, I did not get it. This is for visualization thing, right? Seeing that how my ad is performing. I want to see in the form of graphs and all that. So those are visualization tools. Now, Python. Then further to that, you will be moving across towards NumPy Panda. Remember I told you that rabbit wala example? Same thing here. NumPy Panda. Then you have something in form of probability statistics. Sorry. Probability statistics. You also have something called as hypothesis testing. And followed by that, you have something called as product analytics. Very important. This is, we have seen a lot of companies asking questions around it. Once you're done, then you move towards maths for machine learning, which involved your calculus, linear algebra, and so on. Maths for machine learning. Then you spent in machine learning roughly 3 to 4 months. You will be spending in deep learning roughly 3 to 4 months. Roughly, it's around that time frame. Deep learning includes all of that NLP and all that context as well. Then you have ML ops, how you to put these systems into production, learning system design component and so on. And then in the end, DSA, data structures and algorithms. Now this is optional. You can do it at your own pace once the course finished and all that. Now few important things here, which are kind of critical in this case. Like a lot of you were asking me about ChatGPT and all that. Now let me tell you why I said Scalar is slightly unique in this part. Even here, we haven't yet announced that we are going to teach you ChatGPT, but we are already giving to our student how to build this LLM models, how to build this ChatGPT. And how we are doing that? We are doing it, making them learn using research papers, so that they can understand how to build it if they want to. Today, let's say ChatGPT 4 architecture is there, then how come? What is working here? Why we do this? Because we know this is what exactly industry needs it. Today, if somebody comes to me and I am, let's say, hiring for Microsoft, and somebody tells me he knows LLM, how to play around with ChatGPT, he's the best guy for me to hire. Because firstly, to know that LLM model or ChatGPT, he will be good at NLP, machine learning and everything. Then only he can learn this part. So if we know all this part, then I will be very happy to hire that particular candidate. So this is where the expertise comes in. Second thing where the expertise comes in. Second thing where the expertise comes in is around 80 plus business cases. What is this? So let's say you can learn from project here and there, right? Random projects here and there, 1 day ka project, 2 day ka project. We don't believe on that. What we have done, we have partnered with a lot of companies. For example, Target, Ola, Uber, a lot of companies we have partnered with. And what we said, hey, whatever your data scientist or data analyst have solved, give us that data, same problem to us. We will make it solve through our students. You collaborate with us. And afterwards, you come for placements and we will allow you to take students from through us. This is a deal between Scalar and multiple companies. That's what these 80 business cases are there. Now, what is the win for you? Don't think just about placement. In Scalar, we always talk about skilling up yourself. Once that happens, job automatically comes in. Now, once you are solving this, these business cases are very messy in terms of data because you're solving something real problem of Ola or Target and so on. This is not something made up data. You will struggle like hell. And we will help you with this. This is what's going to happen across for this. Till now, even though we have the first batch which have gone out, we already have more than 500 placements with us. This talks about our success part with respect to our course already. Let me tell you one more stats. People who complete the course properly, 90% of the students who have completed everything what we asked for, like joining the class, solving assignment, making sure that all the business cases are solved, 90% of the student have got placement immediately. So within that support career period, they have all got placed. This is what again talks about, because again, companies also look for skilled people. People talks about they need these companies require people who already have worked on the bad data, who knows how the actual problems look like. They don't want people from book, and that is where Scalar differentiates. Scalar get differentiated with respect to this part very much. Now, this whole journey, what you are noticing, is a part of BA, after which your placement starts, and afterwards your data science placement starts. Somebody was asking me, hey, what percentage of 500? I hope this number tells you that information. Okay, so this is how basically things happen. Now, again, this is for people who need help, because after you complete your courses and all, there is a career assistance which goes across for it. This is very important, right? So again, the career assistance is like we connect you with the companies directly, like Microsoft, Google, or whichever companies we have come in, we connect you with this part. That's how basically it happens. And let me tell you, all these job opportunities which we have provided was in the bad market of 2023. I don't think I need to talk about the fact how bad the market was last year. So that was basically no, there's nothing like, say, nobody can give you guarantee. Even when I was in IIT, nobody gave me the guarantee. But IIT have also assured this part, hey, if you do the course from us properly, if you do daily Danga Prasad, then the IIT can also not help. But if you do our course properly, what you have, we have this percentage of success rate, so you can also get it. Similar thing is what Scalar
301982.
That if you do this part properly on the course, our data say that you will be getting your job. Simple. And remember, this is all in the bad job market, when these FAANG companies were not even hiring. A lot of companies were only coming to us for the goodwill. That was happening. Still, we were able to place a lot of people across. As soon as the job market opens up, this is anyway going to hit. So that's why we...
स्क्रीन रिकॉर्ड करो, यहाँ मेरा बंद हो गया.